Hello and welcome back to the Puck Monkey channel. Today I am back with Steve. Steve, how are you doing?
Fantastic. Immaculate vibes only. How about you?
I'm doing well. So just last night we got some word about Huberdeau's new extension. Do you want to talk about it?
Oh, well, sure, if you're gonna ask me. Let's look at it from both perspectives, because I think there's many single layers to this that we have to consider, right? Is Calgary in a position where they can't resign him? Like, I don't think so, right?
They had
So,
like $3 million in cap.
They have to, well, I meant like, are they in a position where they can let him walk?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they have to re-sign him to sort of just keep that franchise rolling, extend that cup window, maybe 3, maybe 4 years, something like that. They have to give him that contract. Now, let's look at it on his side, right? Does he have to resign there? No, he does not. But when you offer someone the amount of money that he was offered for how long they offered it, and then threw in all those like no trade clauses or like limited movement clauses, like it's unbelievable. Like he would be very silly to say no, right? I think we all talk about this in the Panther community is Huberdeau's, does he have that drive? Does he have that sort of spirit to sort of elevate his game in the playoffs and win a Stanley Cup? Do I think he cares about that so much? I don't know, dude. It's hard. Like, I'm not going to speak for another man, but just based off what we've seen for what he gave us as the Florida Panthers in the playoffs, I don't think he has that drive. So at the end of the day, like, what are you chasing? Probably money at this point, right? So if you're going to be a 38-year-old man and I'm going to give you $10.5 million, sounds like a fair deal to me.
You look at
What do
it.
you think?
I mean, I saw it's 8 years by 10.5. 8 years, mind you. He's gonna be
Plus
38.
his current year this
Yeah.
year.
So he's going to have possibly 9 years with the Flames. And this is the most money the Flames ever handed out. The last second one was Sean Monahan. And there's only a handful of players who got 10.5 or more by 8 years. Patrick Kane, Carey Price, and Jonathan Toews, just to name a few. I believe McDavid got that. And Eric Carlson and Drew Doughty.
It's all Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, all those players won awards. Huberdeau has not.
That's another thing for consideration. So I'm not part of the community that wants to like berate Flames fans on Twitter, because I would consider myself a partial Flames fan. I watched over 50 games this last season. If I had to pick a Canadian team, they would be it, right? And like a lot of them were like berating them, saying he won't sign in Calgary, he's going to walk to Montreal. I was not a part of that community, right? I was a part of the community where I genuinely just do not care. And then I started seeing Flames fans saying they won the trade. And I'm like, I don't think you guys won that trade. Like, you were paying a 38-year-old man $10.5 million, and upset a lot of angry fans on Twitter, Facebook last night, getting into a bunch of arguments. Like, I don't think a large, like, I'm happy for you Flames fans, don't get me wrong, but I don't think a large amount of you are unbiased enough to analyze that deal. Because if you look at like all their rivals were laughing at them. Like, you look at like Vancouver fans, you look at Oiler fans, like they're all like laughing, like, haha, this is exactly what I wanted you guys to do. Pay a 38-year-old 10.5 mil. And then there's like all this like copium aspect of like, oh, well, the cap will rise. Sure, maybe.
It will. Yeah.
Still at the end of the day, I don't care what the cap rises to, you're paying a 38-year-old man $10.5 million. And I don't think, I think that community is just so happy right now that they're not ready to have that real discussion of like if this is a good deal or not. Like, because they had to sign him. Do you not agree?
Yeah, I mean, they were sort of handcuffed. If they let him walk, they lose a trade no matter what. And I mean, they were sort of handcuffs. Like, yes, like Tree Living, the GM, like, I have to sign. I have to stick to my guns. I'm not gonna let this guy walk because I traded for him. To trade Matthew Tkachuk. Another thing, all the West teams are laughing at Tree Living for trading away Tkachuk. Now they will be happy they don't have to deal with Tkachuk anymore, or not as much.
Yeah, I see a lot of memes about like that he's got that dog in him, like like the X-ray, and there's like Photoshop pictures of dogs in them, and I'm just like, I don't think you know what player you're getting. And then you look at all these comments and they're talking about him and Barkov and like, will Huberdeau be able to produce without Barkov? It's like, do you guys not watch Panther games? He hasn't been with Barkov for 3 or 4 years. Like, come on.
Yeah, Huberdeau will be good. I don't doubt that. Huberdeau, I mean, maybe he'll suffer more from the power play since he won't be with Barkov, Ekblad, Reinhardt. I mean, he'll be with Mangiapane, Lindholm, maybe Uyghur, who knows?
Yeah, I saw some stat. I don't know how true it is, but it said like he only spent 220 minutes with Barkov. I don't know if that's including power play. I would assume it's including power play.
Yeah.
Because like the only time they ever really played together was power play, overtime on threes, right?
Mhm.
And then he would play with them when we were losing. And
Yeah.
Burnett doesn't know what he's doing with his life. So he just, put Barkov and Huberdeau together. All right, roll that line over and over.
I mean, then he eventually played with Giroux, but he was playing with Bennett
Drew, Bennett, Duclair, I think are
Yeah.
his 3 most played.
yeah, and Tippett, obviously. Panther legend. I mean, it isn't interesting. I saw this like thing earlier, I think from Panther Paris, like where he said like all those other guys, like Carlson won 2 Norrises, Drew Doughty won Cups and Norris, McDavid. Patrick Kane is still good to this day, even to this last year in his contract. Jonathan Taves won a Selkie, I believe, Conn Smythe, and a cup as well. I mean, those guys have proved it. That's why they got those big deals.
How long has Huberdeau been in the league, Alex?
It was drafted in 2011.
10 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say 10 years. Yeah.
He's been in 10 years because he played 2012 as his first year.
Yeah.
He's been in the league since 2012, and he has 100-point season.
That's hard
and
to
do. You all right, I'm not saying it's easy to do. I'm saying
I know what you're saying.
In context of a $10.5 million deal. And then you'll hear other fans like arguing like he's in the Hart contention every year. No, he's not.
He's in the low Hart contention these past 2 years.
He's been in 1 Hart contention and he didn't even finish top 3. Like, what are you talking about?
And then he was like 12th last year.
And then you want to get into all the hypocrisy of like, Johnny Hockey 2 months ago was 100 million times the player Huberdeau ever will be.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden they're like, we won the trade. Like Huberdeau's way better than Johnny Hockey. You also have to add the element of you lost not only Gaudreau, but you also lost Matthew Tkachuk. You're losing 2 people. Like, let's say hypothetically, like Gaudreau just resigns, even if it doesn't work with those lineup and all that stuff. But if you had Huberdeau and Gaudreau, I would be in a much more confident position as them. But the fact that you lost 2 top liners, like I think you need to tamper expectations. Like, yeah, Lindholm's pretty good, but like I don't foresee Huberdeau getting another 100-point season, and then maybe the next 3 years, unless they can bring in a top free agent.
Yeah, I mean, Calgary does have a lot of money. I could see him going after someone. Then again, it's kind of also hard to get a player, especially Americans, which are a lot of Americans out there on the free agent market, to go to Canada, as we saw with Tkachuk and Gaudreau.
I don't know. The hockey guy doesn't like that argument because he named like all the people that signed in there with the last couple of years. It's definitely an element. I won't lie there. But did you hear about something with his finances? Like Huberdeau getting paid in bonuses because he has a Florida house. He's not taxed as much. Like, did you hear something about that?
No, I did not actually know.
Like, I don't know how legit that is. So take that with a grain of salt. I mean, I genuinely doubt anyone listening to this video honestly cares how much Huberdeau is banking. But I heard something like because he owns a Florida house, he's getting paid in bonuses, not salary, that bonus can then be deducted based off Florida taxes, not Calgary taxes.
Yeah, I saw this one thing where Huberdeau's career earnings after this $84 million extension will be $130 million. At the current time only, Crosby and Ovechkin has earned more than that.
That's ridiculous. I got into a bunch of arguments, like I already said, but like a bunch of people were like, Malkin just extended for this. Letang just extended for this.
Malkin's
and I'm like,
Malkin.
Even that pause, taper the discussion. Cause like the whole argument was that 35-year-olds and 40-year-olds is like the new 30, right? Cause like this kid compared Ovechkin to Huberdeau. And it set me off mentally. And then he brought up Letang and Malkin. And like you gotta consider this. Because a contract was handed out in the NHL does not make it a risk adverse contract, nor does it make it a good contract. People need to understand there are bad contracts in the NHL, right? There are risky contracts in the NHL. This is definitely a risky contract. You sign this dude till he's 38 and he hasn't played a minute for your club. There is an element of risk. But like I said, I'm happy for you, Flame fans. Please do not yell at me. I love you. I support you guys. But just taper yourself right now.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I am curious to see how he does under the Suter system. I know some people are saying, "Oh, look at Jeff Carter, look at Marion Gabrick. They're bad defensively players, but they did good under the Suter system."
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I don't want to speculate
Yeah.
because all that doesn't that matter if you care or not? Does Jonathon Huberdeau even care?
Who cares? I don't know.
Cool.
All right. So let's go move on to the next topic. We're gonna be doing our hot takes for the next season. You want to start, Steve?
All right. My hot take is Ekblad will be exposed. So we've lived in a universe where Ekblad can hide behind Uyghur and escape all criticism. Ekblad can hide behind Sherratt, escape all criticism. I think this season, I think he'll gain a few more haters. Now, I'm not a hater of Ekblad. I'm just a hater of people getting away with murder and not being held accountable when you make a mistake. Like if you make a mistake, if Ekblad makes a mistake and someone else is blamed, that's what irritates me. And I think Ekblad will be exposed. I think we're running out of scapegoats. So Ekblad's going to get exposed this year. And I love Ekblad. Don't get me wrong. But you got to understand, Ekblad led Uyghur in defensive zone giveaways before he went on LTIR. Yet nobody ever talks about it because they don't want him.
Were they in the offensive zone or a defensive zone?
Defensive zone giveaways.
I never knew, so I just curious.
Remember the Bobby Orr comments, the magic wands? Everyone talks about it.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll go to mine. Mine is I believe Tampa will make the wild card. Now with that wild card seeding, I think they'll make it into the Metro. Just because, just to cause havoc and ruin our lives.
So who's that third seed then?
I hate to say it, but it's gonna be Ottawa.
Oh,
I hate the hype train so much. I hate it. I don't believe in Ottawa. I don't believe in Ottawa at all, mind you.
I'm not trying to flame Ottawa, right? The hockey guy knows hockey a lot more than me. I did watch maybe about 10 Ottawa games this season. I saw what they added, but he ranked them like 26 in power rankings.
I believe so. I don't know why, but that's my gut. But I don't believe in them. They have a top six, sure. Giroux, DeBrincat, out of those guys, Stützle, Norris, Batherson, Kachuk.
They just don't have goaltenders.
Who's in your bottom six? They have Cam Talbot is a starter. He played for Minnesota he was a starter for Minnesota. Anton Forsberg owns us.
Minnesota is a very defensive system, though.
That is a good point. And then we saw how he did with Calgary, which wasn't so good, which led him to go to Minnesota. And then, their D-core, Artem Zub and Thomas Chabot are the only really, really good players, barring rookies like Jake Sanderson, who probably won't even make the team. And then their bottom six is all good, but they haven't signed Formanton yet. I like him. He's a good bottom sixer. And Matthew Joseph, but that's it. The rest are players.
They have a lot of good young kids. I think they just need a couple more years. I don't want to hear we're gonna win the President's Trophy. No, you're not. Ottawa, stop. Please.
They don't have the depth like UC Tampa or Florida or Toronto have in that sense. I mean, Toronto less on that extent. But if Giroux goes down, they're down that right wing. I think DeBrincat would, or I guess Batherson would move up, and Matthew Joseph's their second line winger.
Yeah. And then you gotta admit, Giroux is getting a year older. His production did not fall off. I don't like Panther fans that I don't like when Panther fans say that Giroux was an unsuccessful trade.
Right.
He had higher points per game than Marchment, a couple other players, but I thought he did pretty well. Obviously he didn't finish as well. He had way more assists than goals, and the ratio was I think it was 19-3.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And we saw with two of the top six, Batherson and Norris, they're injury prone now. They're in that status of injury prone.
I mean, DeBrincat's a 40 goal scorer.
Yeah, but I mean, the argument is he's not playing with Patrick Kane.
Yeah, but he's playing with Giroux. Maybe Giroux can feed him.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah,
it's possible. I mean, I'm covering our butts here. So Ottawa, Senator fans.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, Ottawa. Exactly. That's why they're making third, right? Yeah.
You ready for my second hot take?
Yeah.
Aaron Ekblad will play at least 2 months in the NHL this season. It's a very hot take.
That's steaming. That's like
I don't know.
Hug Your
I don't know if he's
Flames
gonna be
hot.
able to do it.
Yeah, that's rough.
Do you have any more hot takes? I got one more.
You go. I don't know. I'm still thinking of one.
All right. I think Montour and Forsling will get blamed this year. I have 3 negative defensive takes. I know I like the defense. I like to pay attention to the defense. And I genuinely think that either Montour or Forsling will get blamed this year, and they'll be like the new scapegoat. I think Ekblad will be criticized. I don't think Ekblad will be our scapegoat.
Yeah, he's
like our
precious.
Our Matheson, our Yandel, our Uyghur, like those are our scapegoats. I think Montour or Forsling will fall into that category.
I think Bob will stand on his head. I mean, look at Hellebuck with the Jets system. He won
a hot take.
That's not a hot take. He'll have above 920 save percentage.
What do you have this year?
A 914 or 907, I want to say.
Yeah, I think it was closer to 14. I don't think it was 07.
Okay, fine. He'll have a 923 save percentage above.
Well, I think the problem with that is you gotta analyze our games, right? All right. So sorry about that. Camera kind of died for a second. So talking about Bob, I don't think that Bob is to blame for his save percentage. I know that sounds incredibly stupid. Hear me out. But when you are up 5-0 in the third of the regular season in December or November, like what level of effort do you think people care to, try their hardest, right? And I get it. Like, goaltenders can stand on their heads alone. Like in theory, you probably don't even need a defense to get a shutout, right? I mean, as long as you save every shot, there's a shutout. But I think the defense taking their foot off the gas was a big reason why his save percentage is maybe 0.10, 0.15 lower than maybe what it could have been if the players cared all year long. And I think with Mo Cheesy, what we're going to see is players we're going to play a tighter game. And if you play a tighter game, Bob's going to be more alert and he's going to care. And then it doesn't matter if it's 7-1, that game will never happen. That 7-1 game will probably be a 2-0 game, and he'll continue trying. Defense will continue trying, and his save percentage will improve because of it.
And I think I have one more hot take. I think Barkov will get a 100-point season finally. I mean, he was on pace for one last season, 40+ goals. He had that 96-point season. He's a year older now. He's in his prime. I think he's due.
I got a hot take.
What is it?
Barkov will show up in the playoffs.
Okay.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah. So now I guess we'll do a total wrap up. We're gonna talk about memorable moments. Sealed last season away. It's over now. But let's talk about some memorable moments. What's your number 3?
I didn't rank them in that order. I just put 3 memorable moments. I'm ranking a memorable moment as something I can just off the top of my head. It's a play I remember. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So is there probably a better moment than this? Yes, I 100% agree. There is a moment better than this, right? Like I don't even have going to the next round of the playoffs on my list. So this is just off the top of my head. Ryan Lomberg ejected after hammering Ranta against Carolina. I just thought it was funny.
There. Yeah.
I just thought it was funny because in my head, I'm like, what an idiot. The goalie can't do that. And then Lomberg gets ejected for it. And I was like, what? What do you mean he's ejected the goalie? He's at freaking center ice. Like, who cares? Like, floor his ass. That's just one of my memorable moments is remembering Ryan Lomberg run his ass over. What about you?
I'll go with, I was at this game. It was that Washington Capitals game, the comeback. We were down 4-1. I want to say heading to the third. I think Lomberg scored. And then we had Bennett score in the power play. And then we had Ekblad, or I won't say Ekblad or Barkov tie it up. But then we
that was
have
in the regular season, right?
Yeah, in the regular season, yeah.
Okay. Because you said power play goal.
And then we got gifted. Maybe Barkov was injured at the time, actually. And then we had this power play in the last minute of play, I would say. Back when we had Owen Tippett, mind you. I believe it was like Tippett passed it to Reinhardt, and Reinhardt had a little muffin-sized hole between like the net and the goalie himself, and he did that little one-timer. You hear the post ping. I was at the far end of the ice, so I couldn't even see like the puck itself. But I heard that ping, and then I got up immediately. I knew at that moment we scored. It was awesome. You know,
Every
5-4
time I
now.
hear it, every time I hear it ding, I'll just like tweet out ding. I think it's just funny. My second moment is I'll put the second. Every we want 10 moment. I think I like every game, every time the fans chanted that. I just thought it was really great. Apparently, it goes back deeper to the Miami arena. I never went to a Miami arena game, even though I was born in '93. I just think I was like too young while we were there, and by the time we were in Sunrise, that's when I went to games. So I'm not too sure like when we moved and the history behind all that, but yeah, I appreciated every We Want 10. And I thought it was funny, like, you know, change our like shell names to We Want 10, scream We Want 10 anytime you get above like 5 goals. And then like towards the end of the season, we would score like 3 goals in like the first period and people are just starting to chant it. It's like, oh, slow down. I liked it also because it pissed off everyone. Everyone thought we weren't being humble.
We got
It's
our
like,
10
grow up.
in that Montreal game.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. You know, that like saved like so many of their players like statistics.
Yeah, Caulfield's thing, like I think got a hat trick, like his first ever hat trick.
Yeah. Oh God. What was his name? Johan Johansson or something
Yeah,
like that?
Jonas Johansson, the Panther legend. Waiver.
Stop saying that word
Oh,
when it's not applicable.
it's not applicable.
Yeah,
He was
Riley
here.
Smith.
He played
is
a
not
total of 2
Panther
games.
legend.
He played a season or 2. He was
I don't
traded.
care. It's not
Okay.
a legend. Move on.
Okay. What makes someone a legend then?
I don't know. Huberdeau.
Oh, like an
Wando.
actual legend. Oh,
Yeah,
not like a
like a
sarcastic
not
legend.
troll.
Oh, okay. I see.
I would argue if it's negative, it's not legend.
Okay.
If it's like a negative connotation, like you're just being a troll about
So like
it.
Lomberg, like Panther legend, like that. You know, 'cause
I
he
would
scored
call
that
it
OT
like
goal.
Achari, a Panther legend for
It's
his
a
double
block
hat
shots.
trick.
Oh, that's it. Yeah,
His back-to-back double hat trick, like that's a Panther legend. I wouldn't call Owen Tippett a
I
Panther
see.
legend.
Yeah. Like Lomberg
Riley
with that
Smith.
OT goal. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 2 moment. I was also at this game. The Toronto comeback. I believe it was 6-2 in the second, where Reinhardt scored that goal. He had that. It was like he brought it up to 6-3. He was like, why is he so excited? We
Wasn't
still
it
3 goals away.
Gudis? Wasn't it
Gudis, not
Gudis
yet,
who
not
scored
yet.
the third?
Was it Gudis who scored the third or the second?
I thought Gudis
Or
scored
fourth,
the third
I meant.
goal.
Maybe. I don't remember. But I know
It's
I
your own
do.
memory.
I don't remember who or when, but I do remember that Gudis goal. I was sitting next to my dad. I was like, no, Gudis is not going to score that.
We'll
He
snipe
scores it.
Sally.
He just slaps it from the blue. Like, no way he's making it in. He makes it in. I get up immediately. And then we went to overtime. They pulled their goalie. They were able to tie it or something like that. Or no, they were just tied. And
So
in
it was
overtime,
5. It was 5-2 at the end.
5-2. Then
In
becomes
the
6
middle of the second, Toronto was on a power play, and Radko Gudis scored that snipe.
to make it 5-3.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
And then
So
Reinhardt
I
scored
have
the
a better
second goal.
memory. I have a better memory of your memory than you do. So you need to check your privilege.
Okay. But I do remember that OT game with Barkov to Huberdeau.
Oh yes. Can't
Yeah.
wait to see that this season.
Barkov took a chuck. Let's go, home,
Barkov to
baby.
Huberdeau.
Oh yeah, Barkov passes the Huberdeau skate. It deflects in. Let's go home, baby.
All right. My last moment is Vincent Blowcheck getting floored by Mason Marchman. So I started watching Panthers hardcore when we still had Trocheck, Brett Connolly, Mike Matheson, Dadnoff. So about like 3 or 4 years ago, right when we signed Q and Bob. So I did see Trocheck, and you know the whole Trocheck was tripped meme, and then when he was like talking crap about us after he left because he was pissed because he didn't get the captaincy. I just made it my one job to hate him because like he would always like score on us and crap for like, what was it, like 2 years in a row? Like he had like 9 goals against us and like 4 assists. And it's like he just really like hated us and played us. So like when Mason Marchman floored him in the defensive zone, it was just so magical.
His helmet came off, everything like that.
Yeah.
I'll give an honorable mention to that Radko Gudis hip check, that good old classic hip check to Kirby Dach that could send him doing like a full 360.
I don't know. I didn't find that one that hype.
I didn't find it like memorable. I mean, I could remember it obviously, but I wasn't at the game as well.
You know what the
but
funny thing
it was
is?
cool.
I think because that was after the Toronto game. That's the last thing that Gudis ever did. Because like he was such a ghost in the playoffs, you know.
Yeah,
Like I don't know. I thought he was injured, but like he wasn't. He didn't do anything in the playoffs.
he existed. He's. I mean,
was on the
would you
ice,
Expect him to
sure.
score Will Snipes-Selly or no?
Well, I expect him to hit people and put your
Yeah,
line on the body. Put your body on the line.
yeah. They were way less aggressive this series. The second round.
There were just so many moments where like you knew Gudis was in the game throughout the season, whether if it was a hit, whether it was a block shot, whether it was something that he did, and it just felt like it genuinely felt like if you watch all 10 games of the playoffs, like how many times do they say the name Radko Gudis?
Only when he missed that.
And I feel like it would be like probably less than like 4 times. Like that's just he just disappeared. And then like in my head, I was like, maybe he's injured. That's the only reason the only excuse he has not to go run someone down, you know?
Yeah.
What's your number one moment?
It had to be the Verhage overtime winner that sent us to the second round.
I just did regular season. I didn't do playoffs.
Yeah.
Because if it was playoffs, it would be
Verhage,
all the
Verhage,
playoff
Verhage.
memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, kind of maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Let's do regular season. I'll do the New Jersey Devil game only because I didn't believe the Panthers. Like, why am I still watching this game? I said, and I left to go play Chow. And the score was like something like 6-4. I went back. No way, they're coming back. When they pulled the empty net, Barkov scored the 2 goals, and then in overtime, I was like, oh, okay.
I thought you were talking about the time they beat us like 7-2.
Oh, yeah,
in
that
like
great
December, and we
Yeah.
had like all the COVID
Fire
players
Brunette.
and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for joining me, Steve. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow the socials in the link below.